Greetings, this is Charles Darwin, and I'm speaking to you from a place called Redbud Valley near Tulsa, Oklahoma. And all around me there are some large and flourishing sugar maple trees. There's also smoke trees and blue ash and spice bush. Now, to those of you who live in the eastern deciduous forest region of North America, this may not seem at all unusual to you. However, this is about the only place in the vicinity of Tulsa where you will find forests composed of these trees. Most of the forests around here are composed of oak trees. And the reason for this is because this is a north-facing cliff where the soil is almost always in the shade and cool relative to surrounding areas. Therefore, trees that would normally not be able to survive the relatively hot and relatively dry conditions in Oklahoma, such as sugar maples, are able to germinate and grow here. And once they get big enough that their crowns are up in the hot, dry sun, they now have a strong root system that allows them to get the water that they need. So it is microclimates, microenvironments such as this that allow many species to persist in an area where the climate is otherwise unsuitable for them. This is a major contributor to diversity and to biogeography, and evolution has a lot to say about diversity and biogeography, and that's really most of the point that I wanted to make with you today, is to start noticing the diversity around you. Not only the diversity that is just in general in your area, but the microclimate diversity, how you can go to a little spot where it's a little bit shadier and you'll find different plants and animals living in that location. So you don't just say, oh, it's a forest, there's trees, but notice the microclimates as well. And evolution also is affected by this, because this population of sugar maples, while it's not entirely distinct from other sugar maples, is somewhat distinct, and therefore, for the most part, it is undergoing its own trajectory of evolution, different from what you would find in the larger populations of sugar maples that are found to the east of here. Now, the conditions can be very specific. These are north-facing cliffs, and therefore it's quite shady and moist here on the north side. You go to another mountain in the vicinity of Tulsa, Turkey Mountain, which is not really a mountain, and I've never seen any turkeys there. You won't find sugar maples, spice bush, blue ash, and other such species here. Oh, like this, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a columbine growing out of the crack here. This is a columbines in Oklahoma. It's actually quite unusual. Here's an ash seedling right here. Well, why don't you find them? Turkey Mountain. And the reason is because that mountain goes north and south, so it has an east slope and a west slope, both of which are relatively hot and dry. The west slope more than the east slope, so you'll find post oaks on the west and black oaks and red oaks on the east. But it's not as big of a difference as between the south-facing slope, which has post oaks here in Redbud Valley, and the north-facing slope, which has sugar maples. So I wanted to point this kind of diversity out to you, and how it's caused by evolution, but also how it affects the process of evolution by creating localized, separated populations from the main population. The more you know about science, the more you know about evolution, the more your eyes are opened to the enjoyment of the world around you. This is Charles Darwin. Tally ho, and amen.